As you can see, it is an old brick road. And pretty much straight as an arrow. We've had very slight turns here and there, but it's pretty much straight as an arrow the whole way. This is roughly, I've heard 3 different versions of it, anywhere from 9 miles, 10 miles, and 11 miles. And we'll kind of tell you in the video once we edit it, kind of what it is after we get finished. But anyway, that's the Old Dixie Highway, called the Old Brick Road. Good morning. Welcome to RCSP, Florida. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm usually out in nature, which I am now, really in the middle of nowhere, but we're doing something a little bit different today. We are taking about a 10-mile stretch of the Old Dixie Highway. The Old Dixie Highway was built in the early 1920s and went all the way from Canada all the way to Miami. Almost all of it has been repaved, if it still exists anywhere. But the section we're on now is kind of east of Palatka, Florida, which is where we spent the night last night. And it's really in the middle of nowhere. It's about a 25-minute drive from Palatka to get to the road. I call it the Old Brick Road. It's not advisable to come down here by yourself. It is in the middle of nowhere. We've been out here for maybe an hour so far, and waiting for the sun to get up a little bit, and we've seen one other truck out here. And of course we are in our new ride, the 4Runner. My wife is doing the duties of driving while I'm taking pictures and shooting video. So we're going to take you on a road. I'll kind of turn slow here so it doesn't make everybody sick. I hate people that just swing their camera around and your eyes kind of come out of your head as they do that. So there you go. We are headed to Espanola, which is at the other end of this, where it starts or ends, depends on which way. We came from the north and we're going south, so it'll end in Espanola, Florida, and we'll kind of take you along for the ride. It's been beautiful so far. All kinds of flora and fauna out here. We haven't seen a lot of wildlife. We've seen some birds, heard some other birds, but we really haven't seen all that much. But we will keep you informed on kind of what we find here, and we will kind of, like I said, take you along for the ride. It's really a beautiful, beautiful ride, but like I say, it's in the middle of nowhere. We've come about a third of the way down the road, so we've gone maybe 3 to 3.5 miles so far, and the road has been excellent. It has just recently been graded, so it's really not that bad. People talk about it having, bunholes, but you can see the middle of this road is all brick. So you're not likely to get stuck out here. We're in a very good 4-wheel drive vehicle, so we don't have to worry about it. I have, lockers and high speed and low speed four-wheel drive. So we're not likely to get stuck, but underneath this is a 1-lane road is what it originally was. And they have put sand on top of it, but a lot of the brick comes through like you see here. In certain places, all you see is sand because the sand's on top of the brick, but it's hard underneath. So I'm not too worried about getting stuck out here. So, it'll be what it is. And we could find water over the road. We have not so far, but there's water on each side of the road in a lot of places. So it's only maybe a foot above what the water level is. And if it rises, it could come over this, but I wouldn't think I'd have to worry too much about getting stuck out here. But like I say, it's just in the wilderness, so I would not come out of here. You'd be vulnerable to anybody else that came out here that will say it was a bad actor kind of thing. But you come with somebody else, and I don't know about anybody else, but I come prepared for it anyway. So we'll leave it at that. So anyway, we'll take you along for the ride. I hope you have fun and enjoy it. There's a creek along the Old Brick Highway here, which is Old Dixie Highway. And culverts under the road, and we've had quite a bit of rain here lately. We've kind of gotten out of the drought, and if you can't really see it on this camera, but right through there you can see the ripples and all the current. It's actually flowing pretty fast. I don't know how well you can see that, but those are saw palmetto, and they're like a little seed. They have a kind of a fruit on them. And we just had an incident where somebody stole 890 pounds of them from some company. So they are valuable, but don't get caught stealing them. It's certainly not worth that. But just thought that was interesting. We just heard that story, and I just passed these on the road here. I forget the name of these plants. I'll put it on the screen. I'll look it up when I edit this video. But they have these seed pods on them. They're actually a pretty little plant. If you look at the leaves, they're really very pretty. They look kind of like a fern almost for a leaf. According to Seek, this is a bladder pod. Weird name. As you can see, these plants are quite tall. I'm 6 feet, and this plant goes way above my head. So they're pretty much giant. This thing's probably 10 feet tall at least. And they're all along this Old Dixie Highway. In the old days, this was a big timber area, and all this timber has been cut once. All of the trees you see, here's where they've cut it. You can see the piles they've left after they got through, as we call it, mongering the trees, cutting them all down. They pile what debris up and usually don't burn it. It just sits there and rots away. But you have replanted this, and you can see how big the trees are. So that tells you how many years ago it was replanted. And it's quite easy to see. It's harder to see back there, but when we get up here a little bit, we'll get into where they planted them, and you can tell they're planted because they're all in straight rows. So that's not natural, and that's man-made. So we got some coming up here. They're getting a lot closer here. So get past these bean plants here. Now you can start seeing it. The ones that are kind of out here are not planted. They're kind of grown, but the ones back in the forest, like right there, you can just see down the rows. A lot of brush here. You can see it better in other spots, but these make, they're all planted in rows. You can tell the ones out here in front, you can see how equally they are spaced apart. And I gotta get hang on. Sorry for the bump. I had like a biting fly off my hand. There's a few yellow jackets out here. He's flying around chasing my hand. Okay, we are about 2/3 of the way through this drive. We have seen so far 2 people. And that pretty much is it. So it's not a lot of people out here. So we'll get back to you when there's something to see. We seem to have a visitor on the hood of a car. He's been on here for about the last 2 miles. Okay, we have just about reached the end of our trip here. We are coming right out into Espanola. I can see it the other direction. So anyway, if you look down the road, you can see some fences and a mailbox. So we are about to come out of it here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this different kind of adventure for me, but it's been a lot of fun. We've had a great time, and it's a beautiful drive. Let's see, I don't know exactly what time it is now. Let's see here. If I can get my stupid watch to stop doing other stupid things. It is 10:12. Well, Apple watches don't tell time. They do everything else, they don't tell time very well. It takes me forever to get my time back up. Anyway, enough about Apple. We have had a great time out here. It's been a really good morning. The whole area through where we went the road, as I talked about earlier when I showed you the pine trees in rows that have all been planted, This was heavily, this was a lumber area in the early days back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they have pretty much taken everything out that was of any value, and they have restored it, though they have planted. I mean, those trees were planted many years ago, because you can tell by the size of the trees today. So at least they have reclaimed the land and put it back into forest again, and that's really good. I'm happy they did all that. But it's a very interesting trip. We've seen some birds, but we've seen very few birds, and we've seen absolutely zero wildlife. I think it depends on just luck of the draw kind of a thing and when you come out here. But it's going through areas. We heard people out here hunting. I think turkey season is open, and we heard people out here hunting. And some maybe hunting hogs too, because we heard dogs barking not too far off the road here. But most of this land that's not part of the road, that I'm sure the road is owned by the state of Florida, or at least the county. So anyway, that's all private land. There are roads coming off of this going into that private land, but of course most all of them have gates on them, so you can't explore that. Anyway, that sun's starting to get hot, so I'm gonna leave you with it. I hope you enjoyed this kind of a special edition of RCSP Florida and liked it, and we'll probably be doing more of these in the future. So have a great day, and we'll see you in a little bit. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell button if you want to be notified when I post new videos. I haven't posted much lately, but the weather's getting much, much better now. It was so miserably hot this summer, it was just impossible to get out in it. We had feel like temperatures up in the 100, 110 every day, almost all through June, July, and August. So it's just been miserably hot and dangerously hot to get out. So we are getting out more and more, and we'll continue as the weather cools off, and hopefully be posting more videos. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh, and get out there and shoot. You can't learn to be a better photographer sitting on your couch. Have a good day.